Welcome back to the Adventures Log. My name is CoachFliperon and today we'll be covering my submission for Katsuhiro Mercenary. This Adventures Guide submission is for the new player category. As such, it only contains common and uncommon cards rarity. The purpose of this configuration is to quickly stabilize your position with low cost lethal troops, and then to either win the game with a very big crush troop or just by sheer card advantage coming from the conscript mechanic. To review it, we will take a quick look at the mercenary itself, we will then review party member and finally the deck list composition. You will also find in the video description below the list of cards, equipment and mercenary used along with how to find them. As always, let's take a look at the mercenary. We will be putting the configuration to the test for the dungeon is a Chiner rogue that you encounter shortly after reaching the Alachian Sea in Adventures 2. He has 22 starting health with a starting hand size of 8 and no additional charges. His power is martial training. Basic, 3 charges. Troops in your hand gets +1 attack. Troops you control gets +1 attack. His first passive is Disciple of the Blood Scrolls. At the end of your turn, if you have 3 or more troops that attack this turn, gain 3 health. His upgraded passive is Find a Weak Spot. At the start of your turn, if you control 3 or more troops, add a vulnerable counter to each opposing champion. Thing of note, vulnerable counter doubles the damage dealt to the champion while there is still one on him. For the shard grid, Katsuhiro has primary access to blood, wild and artifact with 4 copies of each common and uncommon rarities. His deck rule reads, can't include ardent troops in your deck. Overall, Katsuhiro's strength lies in his very open shard grid with a strong combo in his activated power plus his upgraded passive that, in conjunction, can generate an impressive amount of damage with just one more swing. He is best suited for a go-wide strategy but can easily be used with a few evasive troops for good damage output as well. Now let us review the configuration itself. For our party composition, we are going to use Clatterclank and Augustine. Clatterclank has a party passive that reads, at the start of the game, if you have more cards in your deck than each opposing champion, gain a charge. For Augustine, we're having at the start of the game, if you want a coin flip, gain a charge. It's really just a way to gain more charges at the start of the game. We're going to build a deck to make sure that we reach the Clatterclank trigger, and when we are on the play, we're going to have one more charge. The activation power for Katsuhiro is very important as we're going to be going pretty wide, and having +1 attack on all our troops is going to make a significant difference when we're considering that our opponent is likely going to have a vulnerable counter as well. As for the deck list, we're running a 24 shard base with an even split of blood and white shards. We're also running 4 of each Necropolis and Monsagi coin. We're running 3 Spectral Acorn just to wrap up the deck up to 62 so that we can activate the Clatterclank power. To make us able to stabilize and manage the game, we're going to run a few 1-drops in the Killblade of the Milky, which is a standard 1/1 for 1 that has lethal, so it can pretty much deal with anything in combat. We're also running the Fertile Engorger with both of its equipment. It's going to generate Killblades as well, a minimum of 3, so as soon as it dies, it's sacrificed to generate the battle hoppers, it will generate the Killblades instead, and the other equipment ensures that we have more charges for it. We're also running a few removal in Gruesome Deed and Cheap Shot. Cheap Shot also has a conscript component which will be helpful with one of our threats. Gruesome Deed is just taking advantage of the number of troops that we'll have in play to deal with anything that's going to be troublesome for us. We're also running 4 Eager Lackey. Again, it's just a small chump blocker early in the game that also generates a card that is a 4-drop that should not be underestimated. There's a lot of great 4-drops to have, and since we're already using the Lackey itself, either for Gruesome Deed or to activate the Katsuhiro passive, it's just all around very great card for us. As for the last way to stabilize or just to survive the late game, we're running 3 Blood Aura with the equipment that enables us to target 2 target troops instead of 1. It's just these new player build, often they're very focused and they're good at what they do, but they lack the power an impact of the rare and legendary cards. So having a way to just have some big threats with life drain usually helps stabilize and get us through the late game. So really like them here, but they could be interchangeable with, you know, any rare or legendary cards that you have that will have great impact on the board late game. As for threats, we're running 4 Draka Outcast. Draka Outcast gets +1/+1 anytime we play a conscript card. We're running 4 Cheap Shots, 4 Eager Lackey, and 4 Bitter Dread. Bitter Dread is the other source of threats that we'll be running with the weapon equipment that makes it a free action. So it's going to generate us an Underworld troop that costs 3 for 0 with the weapon equipped. It's also giving the troop created at the start of the turn summon dreadlings equal to this troop's attack. This helps for, well, this helps in many axes, but the main one is with our main threat for the deck, which is Giggling Scavenger. The Scavenger has a very simple text. It reads, when another card enters a crypt from play, this gets +1/+1. Now, it relates to any card. They don't have to be troops. They can be anything. They can be Dreadling generated by the Bitter Dread troops. They can be actions, they can be artifacts, and they can be from both sides of the board. So this thing with the chest equipment that provides them crush is going to win games. Anytime you're going to play this, you're going to generate troops with Fertile Engorger with a lot of Killblades. You send them out into combat and they all die, and this becomes really big. So there's good interaction with Bitter Dread, and of course if you give it a Blood Aura, it's going to heal you up for a good amount. The Draka Outcast is the other threat of the deck. It's the same thing. We're going to play a bunch of conscript troops, conscript cards and troops. So the Outcast is just going to be significantly big, really fast in the game, and then you can put a Blood Aura on it to gain some life, or just to use him as a stabilizer, or even just a fodder, really. With the amount of conscript that the deck has, you're bound to hit some good hits every game. Every game you should be conscripting like 3 to 4 troops, and more often than not, one of them is going to be significant. So this is the other way that the deck will be winning games here, is that you're just going to create cards until you create a very good one, and you're going to be able to run off with a game with it. So this is how the deck plays, and it really fights on 2 axes. So big Scavenger, big Outcast, or just card advantage to win the game. For gameplay, we will be doing a Runes of Kukulkan run. The dungeon is from the last quest line you get in Adventure Zone 2, located east of the Alachian Sea. Please note that since we're running a new player build, and that this is the current endgame dungeon, we will definitely need to bring out our A game and maybe reset a few fights if we want to make it through. But without further ado, let's just try this out. First fight. Actually this one might just be the hardest for most of the new player builds, because they usually don't have much ways to deal with flying attackers. In this build, what we have is Cheap Shot. So we'd like to set at least 1 Cheap Shot in our opening, and we've got some Gruesome Deeds, so we should be able to deal with the first few flying troops, and that should relieve a ton of pressure from us. Okay, here we go. Being on a draw here is really not great either, but at the very least we'll be able to kill one of the mosquitoes. That will relieve a ton of damage, and after that we can maybe kill another one next turn with a Gruesome Deed and the rider that we just got. It's all about keeping up with the mosquitoes early, and then at some point we'll have some nice troops to use for pressure, but at this time there's not much we can do. We're just going to get it a bunch of time and be very low, and we'll try to see if we can make it through. Multiple blood mists is not that great for us. We're already in the ropes here. We've got a bunch of gruesome deeds though. So we're going to take the free damage and then we're going to gruesome deed one of the mosquitoes. Okay, so we're now with the 3-turn clock. Next turn we can kill one, but this is likely not going to be a win. Be surprising. Okay, so we played this, gruesome deed this, and since we were not able to generate any pressure, we got 2 or 3 turn, yeah, not going to happen. So we're going to have to reset. Again, this is we're not running much in terms of dealing with the flyers, so we need a good start to win against this fight, but once we do, however, the rest of the dungeon should be fairly easy. We've got tons of great ways to deal with what the dungeon has. It's just this first fight, the big barrier to entry that we're engaging here, and there's a lot of decks in the game that are doing fantastic in dungeon and in general that are not doing well in this particular encounter just because of the sheer number of flyers that attack you. We're going to try to go for the pressure instead with the Fertile Engorger on turn 1. Man, if we're ever on the play for this dungeon, it's going to make... Oh, yeah. Alright, well, we're going to have... and since this is the first encounter of the dungeon, like, I'm running a new player build, and as a new player, often you will be looking at, watching videos where people just get into dungeon and crush everything. But the real world is that when you're really low on your collection, you're not going to go and mow through everything and win every time on the first try. That's not what happens. And usually these first fight in the dungeons some are pretty hard, like this one. So what happens is that you'll hit the brick wall a few times, and once you can win this particular fight, then it's going to be fairly easy. So this is what we're trying to achieve here, and it's pretty common to have to reboot the fight a few times to be able to get this one going. Don't look at this and see like this is a bad deck, or maybe you use your own deck and it end up not doing what you want it to be doing. But overall, it's just don't be deterred by that. It just happened. It's PvE. There's no penalty for resetting, so you just reset as much as you need to. Rizix is okay. Kabbalist, maybe. Yeah, Kabbalist could be okay. Now, do we sacrifice the Outcast, or let's try to go for pressure? We don't have a turn to play, but we now have a decent amount of pressure on the board, and at some point it's going to want to play defense. Okay, let's do this. And then we can do this. And we're going to kill this one. We're not going to attack. And we could be running like Sorrows, or yeah, I guess we should modify the deck just for the first fight, and maybe change the cheap shots for Sorrows so that you clear all the flyers and then the fight becomes really easy. That could be a way to do it. But we've got a scavenger. Okay, so how do we do this? We don't have that many turns though, but I feel like 5 Dreadlings, then we put this guy next turn. Oh, we put this guy down here. It's not going to do enough work. What we could do is attack. And 6 or 6. 6 unblockable. We're not going to use Gruesome D. Now we're taking 5. Okay. Got 6 Dreadlings this turn. If we survive next turn, we're going to be in a 2-6, but we're not. We're not surviving that turn. Sadly. What I feared. Okay, so we were 1 turn short of the kill. But it didn't happen. Okay, let's reset again. Just don't fret. Like, and again, right now I'm just, you know, going against the dungeon with a non-modified list. Most of the time, if you intend to farm or win a dungeon, you will need to adjust some amount of the cards in there. Just want to show you that it's doable without any modification, but this first fight is very, very hard. So if we are on the play, we're not on the play. Oh, we've got some ways to gain health though. Oh, this should be nice. Okay. We even got cheap shot. I'm going to go with Engorger first. This is our priority for the first turn. Then we're going to use cheap shot, remove one of them, and then play the other one. And if this one sacrificed, we'll get 3 troop, and the turn after we can start attacking for a decent amount of damage. It didn't happen this time around. Alright, so we're going with this. We're going to cheap shot one of these. And recruiter would create... Just going to do this, and yeah, we're going to wait. If either of these pop next turn, we might be able to win on the following turn. So 3 here is perfect. Didn't activate its power. We're getting it hard in the air though. Oh yes, okay. Okay, that works. Perfect. Here we go. It's going to be tight, but we should be okay. This. And then we use Bitter Blossom. We play the Militia. We Gruesome this guy. And we'll wait next turn to activate Champion Power. Does that make sense? We'll try and get it wrong. Okay. So next turn our opponent will be vulnerable. If either of these do damage to the opposing champion, we're going to... Okay, 3 that works. So next turn we stand to gain a lot more than 3. Okay, so ideally we get a conscript going. Yes! Oh, we've got an Underworld Crusader, look at that. Alright. Improve everything. This and this is going to be Life Drain. And we attack with all it can attack. That's perfect for us, and we're going to gain a ton of health because our opponent is vulnerable. We're doing double damage, and this is Life Drain, so we went back up to 23 in no time. Okay, so this is how you win this fight. Was hard, but right now we're in a very decent space, and this one create Dreadlings. I'm a lot more interested in the Speed Crusader though. Since we're gaining health now, really confident in attacking, and here we get a win. So this illustrates a big difference when you can just, you know, you have your Engorger early in the game, you can trigger the vulnerable, and then a lot of the fights become really easy. And this fight was really hard because we were not able to block the flying attackers because our small little troops are on the ground, but any other scenario where you can block on the ground, this deck is going to be fantastic, as you will be seeing in the next few fights. Here, this was an easy keep. Going turn 1 Engorger is so likely our best start. If you have, you know, Draka and a bunch of conscript cards, you can go with Draka first, but most of the time you want to go Engorger, just for the fact that it creates 3 troops and it takes 3 to trigger the vulnerable on the next turn. So this is kind of, the math works perfectly in this case. So this is really what you want to be doing. So we're going to put Draka out and we're going to keep the cheap shot for now. We're not going to be able to play the troop from the cheap shot that turn anyway. Opponent is likely going to attack, so just going to trade one of the Killblade for his troop. Here we go. We still have 3 for an attack next turn. And now, okay, so this one dies, so we're not going to have the vulnerable counter for this turn, but we're still in a decent position. So we play this, play this. I'm not going to play the coin in this situation. Do we want to? Yeah, we're not attacking this turn, we just want the vulnerable next turn to start wrecking out some nice damage. Yeah, we're going to trade with a Killblade. This is, don't hesitate to trade your Killblades for big things, bigger things. You get like 3 Killblades with 1 Engorger, we kill like 3 or 4 troops, so that's a fairly decent rate. Here we just want to see what we draw and we're still doing damage. Oh, nice. Nice. Bitter Dread. We're not going to be able to play the troop, but we're going to be able to grow our Drakas a bit more. And we've got a Fentio. Look at that. This is perfect. This is how sometimes Conscript is just going to win you the game by itself. And this is one of the many examples of that. So this one is, when does this damage sacrifice and then summon 4 Piranhas? Huh. We clearly want to, I think we just play everything from our end. We now have a lethal, we've got Fentio. I don't think we're activating our champion power just yet because we're not attacking. Does this one fight? Yeah, since it fights, I want at least this one to be 4/4 in case they want to fight it, so that they will be dying. And they might just kill Fentio there, yeah. And then it grows. Alright. That's not too bad, because we're still in a very decent position with all the Drokas, and we even got a Gruesome Deed now. Going to draw cards, see what we get first. Sure, we can still Gruesome Deed after this one. I believe we are in Fertile Engorger territory. Just going to wait. There's no need to activate our champion power just yet. Alright, so this one died. We've got cheap shot. Let's see what we get. Tormentor. Going to sacrifice it to kill this guy. Are we in a position to attack? No, because these ones will die and they will be replaced by a bunch of Piranhas, and I don't want to face that for now. There's plenty of cards in our deck that will trigger us attacking, but we're just not there yet. Oh, this could be good. Alright, speed. That will create 3 Dreadlings every turn. We're going to do this, and we're going to face a bunch of Piranhas next turn, but Oh, this one dies at the end of the turn. Damn. Okay, so we've got a Killblade. That's excellent. Another coin, another Killblade. Next turn. Yeah, this was a premature activation of our champion power. If I would not have done that, we would have had lethal on this attack. We maybe still have it, because each of these attack for 2 damage, and there's 3 blockers, so we're still doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12. So this should be more than enough. Well, more than enough. This should be just enough for the kill. Oh no, Fissions. Fissions just screwed with. Oh, okay, never mind. The blocks were assigned weirdly, and we won. But the vulnerable from the upgraded text is really where Katsuhiro gets his big strength, because if you don't have it, you're in a position where you can't kill your opponent really fast, and that can be a problem when you're just running commons and uncommons. You need ways to generate a big amount of damage with cards that have usually a lower power level. Oh, this works perfectly. I really love this new player build as a starter for players that have, you know, create one character and then they want to start farming or generating some value. Just an eager lackey. We have a free mulligan, we'll take it. This is a way better end. Alright. Let's go with eager lackey first. Just need to keep in mind that this particular encounter, the champion power on 4 is revert all troops, so our champion power activation will be reverted. Need to keep that in mind. And the charges on the engorgers are reverted as well. But once the engorger sacrifices itself and create Killblades, we're good. So, should happen before that. Hopefully. Here we go with Engorger and another Lackey. Just attacking for 1, but next turn we're going to have the vulnerability, and it might be the right time to sneak up and attack, depending on... They are not sacrificed yet, okay. We're not using the Blood for the same reason. I think we're still just playing these and attacking and see what it does next turn with 5. This would be 4, 8. This would be 12 plus 4, 16 is not enough for the kill. Actually, if we use Blood Aura, that should be the kill. This, and then this. Is the math correct? The math was correct. So you can see a bunch of small troops. Like, we ended up winning on turn 4-ish. Not too bad, but we faced an opponent that didn't do much. However, this is the real strength of the deck lies in there. That vulnerable counter that you can guarantee having. And when you can just play an Engorger on turn 1, and if it sacrifices itself, right away you're going to have 3 troops, and on turn 3 you can attack with a bunch of troops and activate your champion power and likely swing for lethal on turn 3 some amount of the time. So going first, we've got our thresholds, we've got a Drug Outcast, we've got at least 1 conscript card. This should be okay. I should have played the Acorn first to see if we added an Engorger, but we did not. Now we got 2 ways to conscript though. It's nice. We're going to... Wait a minute. Is this a quick action? It is not a quick action. Abort mission. Abort mission. Okay. For a second I thought it was a quick action. So we're going to do this. Bitter Dread to get the Drug Outcast bigger. We're most definitely killing this one here. Now it's 3 cost and we've even got an Engorger to play. Nice. We are not triggering the vulnerable counter just yet, but we're very close. Should be okay for next turn. And we've got the Killblades, that's nice. This one generates Dreadling. I think normally I would play the Engorger, but I think with the vulnerability counter next turn, there's a high chance that we just kill our opponent next turn. So we're going to do that. Next turn, our opponent will be vulnerable. We will have 2 Dreadlings, and everything will have 2 attacks, so they will all deal 4 damage. It should be enough. If it's not enough, it's going to be very close. Okay, so here, play this. Play this. We're going to use our power. Now the question is, do we use Gruesome Deed on someone that cannot attack to remove a blocker? I think the answer is yes. Sad to see an Engorger go, but at the same time, we're just going for the kill here. Should be enough. -10, more than enough. Alright, and we got a bonus gold because we use our mercenary on a special mercenary node. That's great. As you can see, really the first fight wasn't a representative of the overall deck performance. As soon as you get out of this very specific scenario, the deck performs extremely well. Oh, we even go first here. That is lovely. And you see that most of the starting ends are good. There's not a lot of starting ends that are not great here. I don't think we'll be under a lot of pressure, so I guess we go with the Lackey first and see what we get. May or may not change our prioritization. Deal damage, bury the top 3 card. Nah. Oh, we've got a Drucka. Even happens that we have a cheap shot here, but cheap shot is a quick action. Let's ambush our opponent first. Or do we just play the Killblade and wait? Yeah, I have that plan. Just wait. There's a line here where we activate champion power and attack, and then we kind of block, but I'd rather keep the cheap shot for something else. 3. Well, let's take this. Another one of these and burn the Killblade. Alright. Okay, so you're going to be smaller. And this. I don't think we gruesome need. I think we just make our troop bigger and then we can just attack. And next turn, both attack and then we trade with them. This means that we're not triggering our... This means that... Or we just wait. We take the hit and... We may just kill our opponent on the swing back. Out of that plan. Vulnerable. That make any sense? If we would have drawn a shard, I think this would have made a lot of sense. But now that we don't have the shard, I'm a bit worried about this position. So, what do we do next? We could Blood Aura on the Lackey and the Outcast and then attack and start gaining health. Actually, it's not a bad plan. Our opponent is vulnerable, so If he doesn't block, we're going to gain a decent amount of health. Nice. Now we're not pressured at all, and we can take more hit, even though we're burning. Actually, do we want to preserve our health? Yeah. I think at the very least this one has to go and... Yeah, let's manage our burning counters a bit. This one can get out of it very quickly if we're not careful about it. We can still attack through it with the Draka, and we can kill it with a Gruesome Deed if it doesn't block, and next turn it should be a kill. Just playing this on the safe side. We're now at 27, so really shouldn't be too much of a problem. We're still, you know, with 5 burning counters, but now we're just attacking for lethal. Here we go. Alright. Now into the last fight. Excellent. And this one is relatively going fast. Like, as soon as we were out of the first fight, we've been winning fairly quickly in this dungeon. If you'd want to farm this dungeon with this build, you would have just to, you know, make a few changes. Just include a bunch of, like, four sorrows instead of a few other cards, and then you're in. You're going to be able to win the first fight fairly easy. Go first. And the beauty for this fight is that we have a bunch of little troops, and as soon as they block the behemoth dies. And it becomes fairly easy, so we kind of want one of them. Let's try this one still. This is not a great hand. Really not a great hand. Let's see what we get with the acorn. Not great. Kenneth Carver could be a way for us to get back into the game. We're going to take a few hits here. While it doesn't do much of damage, and actually we're just going to activate the coin. The coin this turn. Oh, we've got an engorger, that's perfect. Okay, so we know what we're doing next. Next turn is engorger, and we may just use Lucky to kill a troop. I don't think we're killing this one. Oh wow, okay. Should be good. We should be okay. This turn we chum block with the Lucky. So this we can block, this we... How do we kill that? Let's do it like that. These, as soon as these are transformed into Killblades, we're good. Like, it's going to be easy. No Killblades. Alright. Do we go with this guy who's going to be gaining us health? I believe this is what we're doing. And it can block the next attack from this guy. So we can only take 3 from this one. 5-2 is a bit of a pain. Taking 5. We need the engorger to switch. No switch. Oh well, so we do attack with the Carver. Do we we gruesome deed something? Oh, we're going to take a lot of damage. I think we're going to have to sacrifice a scavenger. Yep. At least this one is going to gain us health if he becomes blocked. Wow, that's a ton of pressure. Do we take 8? If we get a bunch of Killblades, we're still okay. We did not. This one can block and gain us health, and now we have a Killblade. We may be able to salvage this. Now there's no denying we need a Killblade. And just pass the turn. This turn we can block, gain 5, kill the behemoth, and then we'll be in a much better position. Do we also block with the carver? Nah, we don't. Okay. Oh wow, okay, so that helps a ton. This one. And then we can even... I don't want this to attack. No, thank you. This becomes a 3/3. Get everyone +2. Next turn we can still do it, and we may just be able to win next turn. We've got a lot of blockers. We do need to block everything. Nine, 8 crush, and the opponent will be vulnerable and taking double damage, so this is likely to win here. Win or bust. It should be okay. Oh yeah, that's a kill. That was a kill. Nice. Do we get any nice legendary from the packs? No, well that's sad, but that's okay. The deck did exactly what it needed, and we didn't add really stellar starting ends in all this playthrough, and the deck was fairly powerful. It's really just the first fight, and just taking a quick look at the list again. If you want to change that, you could maybe remove one Blood Aura and one Gruesome Deed, one Cheap Shot, and add a few Sorrows, so that you can just deal with the first fight. And the Sorrows are also helpful in some of the other fights as well. And if you really actively want to farm this specific dungeon, I think that would be perfectly fine after that. If not, this general build will work well all throughout the campaign, from the first adventure zone to the second one. So don't hesitate to use it. If you have to replace cards, you know, replace the threats that you have, and maybe get better rare or uncommon conscript, that should be perfectly fine. So this was CoachFliperon for the Adventurers Log. Thanking you for watching. See you next time.